Hi everyone! Hoy en el curso, para ayudarte a aprobar el examen oficial de inglés B2 First, hablaremos de la tercera parte del examen de speaking, llamada Collaborative Task. Yo soy Bri de AC Academia de Inglés Online y hoy os daré algunos trucos que puedes utilizar para sacar buena nota en esta parte del examen. Empecemos! Okay, let's get started. In this part of the speaking exam, the examiner is going to show you and your partner a diagram that looks like this one. As you see, it looks a bit like a spider web, like una tela de araña. So there will always be a question in the middle, surrounded by topics related to that question. The examiner will give you 15 seconds to read the image, and you'll hear them say these instructions. Here are some activities which may need a lot of concentration and a question for you to discuss. Now, talk to each other for about 2 minutes about why it might be necessary to concentrate when doing these activities. Okay, now let's watch a demonstration of part 3 discussion between two students. And as you watch, I want you to think about what language these students use to pass the conversation to the other student, and also what language they use to agree and to disagree with each other. Okay, do you want to begin or shall I?
Ladies first.
Okay. Well, I think it's important to concentrate a lot when you play sports. So if it's a team like football or basketball, you need to concentrate on helping the other players. What do you think?
Yes, I totally agree. I also believe you need to focus on winning the match. On the other hand, solo sports like running are more relaxing. People do this to disconnect from their busy lives.
Yes, yeah, I see your point completely.
What about understanding directions in another language? For me, I need to concentrate really hard with this or I'll be lost. What about you?
Well, for me, yes, understanding another language is difficult, and I find that you need to listen carefully to understand correctly, and sometimes you translate the words. Some people also speak very fast or they have a different accent, and I think this also applies to watching movies. Do you agree?
Well, I think it depends on the film. For example, when I watch a movie with the actor Matthew McConaughey, I really have to concentrate when he speaks. I always have to use English subtitles, always. But watching a movie in my own language is always relaxing.
Okay. Now, there's no right or wrong answer here, but the examiner just wants you to develop a conversation and to share your ideas. So now let's talk about some things that these students did well. Firstly, they were great team players. So as the name of this task suggests, being collaborative is the key to succeeding in part 3. The idea is to have a verbal tennis match with your partner and to share the speaking time equally. Student 1 and student 2 did this really well with each other. They expressed an opinion and then they asked their partner if they agreed or disagreed. They were also confident about moving the conversation forward and changing the subject, using expressions like, "What do you think about?" or "How about?" Okay, next, it was great to see student 1 and student 2 focusing on 3 to 4 of the points in detail. So in fact, 5 points are a lot to cover in only 2 minutes, and the examiner is just interested in your discourse management, which means your ability to give an opinion and then develop that with an idea, with an explanation, or to justify that opinion with an example. For instance, Raoul spoke about finding the actor Matthew McConaughey difficult to understand.
You've been the one sitting there listening to this instead of me, which has been a good thing because you were always the calmer one.
So here he's trying to develop his point with an interesting example. Okay, the other thing that student 1 and student 2 did well was agreeing and disagreeing using interesting language. This part of the speaking exam is a great opportunity for you to show off. Es una oportunidad para demostrar to the examiner all of the language that you have learned to express your opinion. Student 1 and student 2 used phrases like, I see your point, and I totally agree to react to their partner's opinion. They also used expressions like, I think that, and for me, to express their views. So we really recommend preparing a list with a few more useful phrases that you can use in your exam to give your opinion. If you really want to amaze the examiners, use alternatives to phrases like, in my opinion, by using, I'm convinced that, or if you ask me. Okay, now let's return to our demonstration and hear student 1 and student 2 answering the follow-up question to their part 3 discussion. Now, both of you have about 1 minute to decide which 2 activities need the most concentration. Okay, in my view, understanding directions in another language is very difficult because if you don't understand everything, then you can get lost. But what are your thoughts?
Yes, I think that's true. But you can ask the person to repeat the sentence if you don't understand the first time. So for me, it's not so difficult. On the other hand, studying a difficult subject, I think needs a lot more concentration because you need to remember a lot for an exam. Do you agree?
Yes. Yeah, I can see what you're saying. Studying for an exam could be more difficult. You also have to remember a lot of information at one time. Okay, did you catch that? The students were using some of the language we discussed earlier to agree and to disagree with each other. Expressions like, I think that's true, and in my view. They did a great job using a variety of language. Secondly, you might also notice that the students did not reach a conclusion together. Now, in this part of the exam, although it's advisable to reach a conclusion, it's not totally necessary. Ok, ahora repasamos los trucos que hemos aprendido hoy para la tercera parte del examen de speaking. Colaborar con tu compañero y intenta mantener una conversación natural. El objetivo es seguir hablando sobre el tema durante 2 minutos hasta que el examinador os para. No debes dominar la conversación, sino ayudaros al uno y al otro, dando tu opinión y reaccionando cuando el otro candidato habla. No te preocupes si no acabas hablando de todos los puntos o si no llegáis a una conclusión. Es mucho mejor concentrarte en ampliar tus respuestas y intentar justificar tus opiniones. Y, como siempre, intenta que tus respuestas estén llenas de vocabulario interesante para expresar tu opinión. En lugar de expresiones básicas como I agree or I disagree, Intenta utilizar una mezcla de frases que corresponde a tu buen nivel de inglés. Okay, that is all for today's class. Si te ha gustado esta clase, suscríbete y si crees que esta clase puede ayudar a otros, compártela. Déjanos un comentario con tu experiencia o preguntas. Encantados de ayudarte. Okay, we'll see you next class. Bye.
Aced it.